Hey folks, Aaron here. Welcome to day 11 of the 12 days of anime. Now, as you can see from the title above, we are looking at the worst anime of 2018. Now, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, this is my opinion, okay? I always have to state that in videos like this because I know I can get a lot of backlash from people who don't seem to understand that when you have an opinion on something, it doesn't mean it's automatically wrong because it's against your own opinion. I liked a lot of anime this year. I also disliked some anime. It wasn't a lot, to be honest with you. It wasn't. I didn't really watch that many crappy shows this season, or excuse me, any season for that matter, because of the fact that I didn't have as much time to watch a lot of anime. So a lot of them more, I think there are probably some worse than what's on my list. But for me, these are the two shows that I watched at least the majority of, or tried to watch the majority of, and just did not like it. Now, how I'm going to do for the worst, and I'm going to do some of the very similar for the best, is I'm going to have a runner-up, and then I'm going to have the worst itself. Now, for me, I know this is going to cause a little bit of controversy. The runner-up for the worst anime of 2018 was Junji Ito Collection. Now, some of you guys might be like, no, Junji Ito Collection was great. It had, it's Junji Ito. He's the master of manga horror. Exactly. He's the master of manga horror. His animation, not that good. That collection was very hit or miss. And the thing is that while some of the animation was truly in his, his theme and his way of style, but a lot of it wasn't as good as what I've seen in the manga. I've seen just a high level of artwork from Junji Ito. I've seen what he can do and what he can't do in terms of art, and his manga collection is just, his manga series in general, like all of his stories, even if they're weird or nasty or whatever, have an air to them where you look at the drawings, you look at the creation of it, and it's just like, wow. The anime did not capture any of that. And the worst thing is that they chose some of the worst stories, I think, out of all of his works to put on air, which is very strange to me. Tomy was butchered, and I know for some people Tomy doesn't consider part of the Junji Ito collection because it was like an OVA series, but it does count because technically one of the episodes was in the Junji Ito collection, and it was garbage. They ruined everything about it. They ruined the story. They ruined the plot. Did not like Tomy for how they did it. And I love Tomy the story. The manga for Tomy is probably one of my favorite like horror manga ever because it's just so dark and brooding and just really creepy and like there's so many things about it that it's a great series. It really is, and I definitely recommend people check it out. You can buy the omnibus for it, which is really nice. It's a hardcover. It's really cool. It's like about $30, I think, but it's really worth that. But yes, Junji Ito Collection, not the worst anime of 2018, but definitely for me a runner-up from what I saw. The worst anime of 2018, drumroll, is Beatless. Now, I started reviewing Beatless. I think many of you guys saw. I started reviewing Beatless. I got to like episode maybe 5 or 6. I watched it beyond that. Like when I stopped reviewing it, I watched several episodes beyond that, and I didn't finish it. I could not finish Beatless. There were so many things I loved about Beatless, the concept. I loved the opening. The music was great in the opening. I actually downloaded the song after that because it was just so good. I liked the art. The art wasn't too bad. The animation was really good too. But the story and characters and just overall theme just annoyed the shit out of me. Now, there could be two reasons for this. One, it could be because I was a fan of Chobits, and in some ways, Beatless feels like a more action-paced version of Chobits rather than have that romance element. Or two, it's just because, honestly, Beatless had so many freaking recaps for a 22-episode show, I was blown away. I've never in my life seen, I think it was 3-episode recaps, I think. Maybe there's more. From my knowledge, I believe there's 3 at least. You're 22 episodes. Why do you need 3 recaps? People aren't forgetting what happens that fast. It's not like, oh man, 5 episodes passed. Need a recap. I forgot what happened. No. There's no point of that. No show should ever have more than like 1 or 2 recaps at most. And that's saying if we have like past 20-something episodes. That's a stretch. But to have it where you legitimately have 3 recaps, I think it was episode like 11.5 was a recap, and then there was like, I think 16 or something like that, and then one before that. Why? Why do you need that many recaps? There's no point to it whatsoever. There really is not. But beyond even that, the story was all over the place. It just did not have any really good tension. The characters, they felt at times really generic. Even the main girl, I was hoping that she would like have a little bit more of a, I don't want to say like a similar feel to Chi from Chobits, but more so a feeling of more of a robot. Like I get that she's supposed to be an advanced AI unit that's inside this, I want to say androtic body, but it wasn't well done. Like, it didn't feel like any relationship was ever forming. It felt like there was a one-sided relationship at times, and then it felt like almost like a sister slash brother complex with the main character and not his sister, but with the android itself. It just did not feel like a good show, and watching it was boring. Like, I remember the first couple episodes, I wasn't too pissed off about it. I didn't really dislike the show that much. I didn't really care for it, but I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. You know, I always like to give shows more than 3 episodes. I don't believe just 3 episodes. I usually go up to like 5 or 6, or even try to finish a show. I couldn't finish it. It was so god awful. So, you know, Beatless was definitely the worst thing for me 2018 wise. Like I said, Junji Ito is right behind it. Like, Junji Ito is very close to just being as, and I think Junji Ito, the reason why I dislike it so much and why I had so many issues with it is because as a fan of his work, I know what he can produce. I know Junji Ito's work is some of the creepiest and sometimes like just unsettling type of stories, and yet none of those were used. None of the good ones were used, and one episode in particular wasn't just wasn't disturbing or unsettling. It was just nasty, and I don't know why they thought that was a good episode for an anime. Like, to me, that was just gross. It wasn't even like scary or creepy. It was just flat out gross. And for many of you, I know you know what episode I'm talking about. It was a particular oil episode. Yeah, it was just like, I mean, I know some people that vomited watching that. I kid you not. There were some people I know in my group of friends that watched episode, I think it was, I want to say 7 or 8 around that, and legit got so sick after watching it because it was just nasty. And that's not horror. That's not unsettling creepiness. That's just gross imagery that just was not necessary. It did not do anything in terms of just creep out the audience, and not in a good way. Not like, oh my god, that's something spooky, or oh, look at that nasty thing. You know, like there was an episode about holes in human body, and that was creepy, and it was also disturbing, but it was creepy because the concept of it made sense. And it was, you know, the whole thing was like these bugs infiltrating the body after you were cursed by this artifact. That was well done. It was nasty to look at, but it was well done. That wasn't. So, you know, it's, and I almost feel like I'm talking about Junji Ito's collection worse than Beatless, but Junji Ito's collection had some stories that I really liked, and there were some moments of it that were really cool, and I loved the opening for it. I loved some of the episodes' animations. They were very, very similar to his style, as close as they could get to the manga style. I think the manga obviously surpasses his animation style, but it was very close. And from what I know from reading the synopsis of a lot of stuff with the Junji Ito collection, he did have a hand in some of those stories where he made the animation, or at least try to, you know, mimic it from the art style that does in the manga. So I give props to it. That's why I can't make it the worst, but Beatless, just overall, I couldn't finish it. It was not enjoyable. Too many recap episodes, you know, lackluster story, lackluster characters. The list goes on. It was just not one of those shows I liked. Anyways, let me know in the comments below. If this is your question, obviously, what did you think was the worst of 2018? I will talk to you guys later tomorrow, obviously, on Christmas Day. By the way, happy Christmas Eve, everyone. I'm sorry I put the video out so late, but I unfortunately was working really late today, and I was really busy all day, so I apologize for that. But I'll talk to you guys in the next video, which will be coming out tomorrow on Christmas Day. God bless you all. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.